Greetings, Dr. Ritwan and friends. My name is XieXueJia. Together with XiaYuTongMashuNan&ChenZe, we will present to you the introduction, literature review, methodology, finding, discussion, and conclusion of our study. This is a study of phrasal errors in EFL College Freshman's English L2 writings, with a focus on tourism English course at Youth College of Political Science of Inner Mongolia Normal University. First, I'll talk about the research problem. Making error is a process of learning a foreign language. As phrases are the essential constituent of English compositions, it hinders students' competence in English writing. According to the observation by one of our researchers as their English language teacher, formal writing is a dominant problem among listening, oral, and comprehension in students of Youth College of Political Science of the Inner Mongolia Normal University in the city of Hohhot. Therefore, our research seeks to investigate the main categories of phrases within participants' compositions. Also, we attempt to compile and categorize the most common phrasal errors in participants' compositions. To be more specific, we came up with two research questions. First, what are the main types of phrasal errors in the writing of our target participants? Second, what are the most common phrasal errors in the writing of our target participants? Moving on to literature review, in which we go through prior studies to better understand the relevant field and identify the gaps. Staples et al. Investigated phrasal and clausal patterns of L1 writer across 4 different levels of academic levels, from undergraduate freshman year to graduate freshman year. It is not an empirical study, and the samples are from British academic written English corpus. This study revealed that phrasal structure features are essential factors influencing the complexity of writing, and this complexity increases with academic levels. Kermes and Kotsi examined the linguistic errors made by Turkish EFL learners to identify their underlying causes, and review interlanguage errors are a prominent factor influencing English writing. From our literature review, we identify various gaps. Based on the first literature, we identify that the study is carried out on phrasal complexity instead of phrasal error, and its target demographic is L1 writers instead of L2 writers. From the second literature, which focus on error analysis on all sorts of errors instead of phrasal structures. Furthermore, no research to date on phrasal errors actually focus on a sample in Hohhot, Inner Mongolia. Next, Yutong will share with you on our methodology.
Thank you, XieXueJia. Talking about the methodology, we decided to take advantage of quantitative method to investigate the phrasal errors that our target students are most likely to have. And we hope that can provide more inspirations for further study. And for sampling method, because of our specific purpose of the study, we applied purposive sample of non-probability sampling method. Also, the criteria for extraction are as follows: presents common error types, no plagiarism identified, and no AI writing editing. And for our participants, we take the initial sample of 30 samples collected who took tourism English course from Youth College of Political Science of Inner Mongolia Normal University. Furthermore, because of the criteria predetermined, we extract 4 samples due to the repetition of similar errors. By the way, we adopt the phrasal classification model, which is from Nelson's book, The Essential Grammar, to have a writing task themed as welcome speech. To thoroughly consider the ethical issues, we explain the scope of study to obtain approval and always ensure their anonymity. Next page, please. Attached below is our rough procedure of data collection. We recruited we recruited 30 participants into a written English course at Youth College of Political Science of Inner Mongolia Normal University, and then to explain the aim of the study to attend participants' consent. Thirdly, we assigned the themed writing task with topic welcome speech and not less than 200 words. Fourthly, we collected and typed into Microsoft Word for initial machine check, and then we do the manual check to select the samples to meet the criteria, and then to employ Grammarly for the secondary check. And lastly, we will do the manual check for the confirmation by all four researchers, and the whole collection process. We're using a Chinese application WeChat to gather the screenshots of essays written by the participants. Next page, please. Also, for data analysis, we decided that firstly, we choose four samples according to the determined criteria, and then phrasal errors extracted from the samples. Thirdly, we did the classification of phrasal samples to count the numbers of each type, and lastly, made the tabulated tables for further analysis and for division of the phrasal errors according to Nelson, Kermis, and Carsey's phrasal classification model. We divided the type of phrases into noun, verb, preposition, adjective, a verb, ing, and EFL phrases classification type. And next page, please. That is our framework. We adopted a model of phrase classification, which is from English Essential Grammar, as our theoretical framework for analysis. Next page, please. And let's move into findings.
Thank you, Yutong. According to the framework of Nielsen, we classify the phrasal errors into NP, VP, PP, ADGP, ADVP, INGP, and INFP. Let's look at the NP errors first. Based on our study, we found 7 types of NP error. Misuse of noun is the most frequent error, which are shown 17 times. For example, terms like province and equipment are used incorrectly, which are intended to be city and facilities. Plural S was neglected 6 times, such as service and scenic spot. Omission of noun was found 6 times as well. A student used sweet instead of sweet journey, mention instead of mention the. Omission of article was found 4 times. Overuse of noun happened 3 times. Misuse and overuse of article are identified 1 times each. There are 38 NP error in total, which is the most typical and frequent error in their writing. Next page, please. The second type is VP error. 8 verbs were misused. For example, eating and call, which should be have and contact. Incorrect tense and omission of verb was both identified 5 times. Spelling error and misuse of the third person singular was found 1 time. There are 20 VP error in total. Next page, please. PP error is the third type. Preposition of PP or preposition or PP was omitted 9 times. For example, who hot with without off. This trip without on. Preposition was misused 6 times and overused 2 times. There are 17 PP errors in total. ADJP error was found 8 times, which are misuse of adjective and personal pronoun. Next page, please. Adverb ADVP error was identified 2 times. Spelling error and overuse of adverb are both found 1 time. No INGP and INFP error was found in our study. Next page. This is the ratio of different types of phrasal error. Let's move on to the discussion.
Okay, thank you, ChenZe.
So for the discussion, based on the result and funding above, it is shown that the main types of the phrase error in the writing of EFL freshmen in the Young College of Political Science of the Inner Mongolian Normal University are noun phrase, verb phrase, preposition phrase, adjective phrase, and adverbial phrases. Comparing all types of the phrases error, it can be concluded that misuse and omissions occur most frequently among all types of the phrases error. However, different from one of the seen in Kermes and Karsi's research in Turkey, this study found that the most typical phrases error in EFL learners' English writing is noun phrase error, with the highest proportion of 43.6%, and the most dominant phrase error types was a misuse of noun. This is because incorrect translation from the participant's first language. It shows relations to Kermes and Karsi's study, which prove that L1 interference error are prevalent, and the students' deficiency in the target language knowledge could be a major source that hinder students' effectiveness in English writing. The cognitive process of participants may misload vocabulary choice as they tend to organize their English production with a L1 structure. For the conclusion, this study reveals a highest frequency of noun phrase error in the writing of Chinese college students and the prevalence of misuse and omission in different types of phrases. This study also shows that L1 interference and the learner's deficiency in English could be the major source that affects students' English writing, which has also been supported by the previous study. This study also filled the gap that only a few studies on the analysis of phrases error in Chinese students' English writing. But for the limitation, this study lacks numerical data to support the findings that are representative of the entire Chinese freshman students. This is partly due to the lack of diversity in the respondents and the number of participants selected, as well as the amount of data collected. In addition, previous studies have explored the impact of L1 on English writing, but the study is focused on the analysis of phrasal errors in Chinese students' English writing. So that results in the lack of supporting data for the findings. So here are the appendix that we collected from the participants. And here are the reference. Thank you very much.